What a night we have ahead of us. It promises to be so exciting, so gripping. Were you watching yesterday? Did you see Dries do it again? Here we are, leg 6 of 8 in London at the Exell Arena. That stands for Exhibition Centre London. There you go. And we've got the lights flashing, the arena's going from red to blue and all sorts of things. People are streaming down to fill up the seats. We're hoping for an 8,000 capacity crowd. And that shows you the current standings. Boyd has won his maximum points. He's guaranteed his road to Bordeaux. Dries, is it going to be his night, or is it going to be the night that Bundy wins that 100th World Cup competition? But back to where we are. Bram isn't here, Jerome isn't here, Anna Mareike is here. She could get some more points on the table, as could Ijsbrand, Koos and Fredrik Persson. There they are. Dan Naprous, don't forget, is also a wild card like Boyd Exell. They cannot and will not earn points tonight, but everybody else here, all the other 5, are competing as qualified drivers. Those are their current world standings relating to the outdoor season that has passed and what brought them here to this point to qualify for the World Cup. 10, top 10 or 11, they come forward for the World Cup for what they have done the previous season. But here we are, look at those numbers. Leg 6 of 8, only 2 more to go before we go to the final in 2025. We're nearly at the end of 2024. But what a competition it was yesterday. For those of you that watched that very first drive, it came down right to the tips of the fingers and the toes between Dries and Boyd. 0.11 between them on that first round. They all had balls, all 3 that came back had balls in the drive off. And you can just sense the atmosphere ramping up. The whole event here for the driving, generously sponsored once again, as you can see on your screens, by Karen and Hugh Scott Barrett. We are delighted to have their support. On to the course animation. Keep up if you can. This is nearly as fast as it happens in real life as we thread through. Number 5 is that first obstacle. 4, we've shot over the bridge. So they come in from the short side, looping round to be lots of loops and turns. Our course builder did say last night he was surprised they took some of the turns they did, but they will have analysed the whole performance from yesterday and then wondered what they were going to do today. Whizzing round across the diagonal again, trying not to hit any of those cones and balls before they drive through them. Number 10 is number 2 for the marathon style obstacles. For those of you that study this really quickly, but whose reactions are just as quick as our drivers and our horses, you may well remember, if this is the way your mind works, what those incredible routes were. How many times will they change their minds? Don't forget that for the drive off this time, we are sticking with the same course. That is what happens on competition 2 when those points mean the real prizes, when they go towards the ranking table as we come back to the arena.
Thank you very much. Yes, well, we'll keep control as we can through. It's going to be an amazing night of competition, as you say. A brilliant battle there with Dries Degrieck finishing top against Boyd Exell. That's been the story of the FEI Driving World Cup.
And look at these young fans starting. What seats they have got, lucky girls. The best seats in the house. The Royal Box is situated right in the middle. Yesterday we did have the presence of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Edinburgh and Lady Louise, who are both keen carriage drivers. We are absolutely delighted the next generation of the royal family are continuing with the sport that, of course, the great late Prince Philip was so instrumental in starting. We in driving owe everything to the great man, and indeed his daughter, the Princess Royal, was presented with the British Equestrian Media Association lifetime achievement, and huge thanks for all she's done also as a past president of the FEI. And look at everything glittering and shining with the incredible horse show logos on the heads. They are dedicated fans, aren't they? Don't know they're on the camera. We've got this lovely big cube over the centre of the arena here at the Exell. The dimensions are about 76 metres, 73 or so by about 33, give or take a few metres. And that does have a bit of a bearing on the course build from Jerome Hooterman, one of our most experienced course builders. They were delighted with how the course drove yesterday. Oh, we're shining. We've got the glittery Christmas trees as well. Christmas really does start here at the Exell Centre. That there on the left-hand side of your screen is Mrs. Preetha Exell, indeed, Boyd's wife, who is so instrumental to the whole enterprise that stems from Valkenswaard in the Netherlands, where they are based and travel all over the world, teaching and competing. Lots of familiar faces in the driving and equestrian world coming to watch tonight. I'm sure lots of you are seeing your friends and family on the screen here. Give them a wave. Sarah and Philippa Howe, both international carriage drivers there for the British team, from singles all the way through to pony teams. Tremendous coaches as well. Lovely to have shots of some of our very best teachers, because if you want to start driving, you need to go to the likes of Sarah and Philippa Howe to learn how to do it. And we had a fantastic masterclass here this afternoon around about lunchtime with Daniel Naprous, who of course is competing as a wild card, but it's Dan's annual sojourn to the World Cup, and he avails himself very well. There he is, Team Naprous. He's looking quite laid back. They are currently very much internationally on the tips of everyone's tongues, because Dan was the master of the horse and supplied a lot of the horses for Gladiator 2. Mareike Harm there, or Mareike Meier as she now is since she's got married, just going across your screens and just gently trotting round there, warming up. Wonderful sights round the back. And this is one of the great new initiatives that we were able to take in moving from the hallowed halls of Olympia in West Kensington to this bespoke exhibition centre, the Exell Centre at the East End in the Docklands, is that we just have far more room to have these open warm-up arenas, a bit like you see in some of the events on continental Europe as well, where all the fans and the people in the bars and restaurants can have a real close-up look at these wonderful horses, sense the power. But they just are so calm at this stage. We've got aging from 6. Dan's new leader is only 6, and he had quite a look of startled enthusiasm on his face, did Nix, last night. But he did very well. Dan was absolutely thrilled with how the young horse did. Dries has 2 8-year-olds in his team, and he had to draft in the grey. You can just see standing next to the blue background there, that was our winner last night, Dries Degrieck, standing next to Fredrik Persson with all the greys from Sweden, and of course the great Ijsbrand Chardon with Casper, little Tobiano in front. As everything really starts rocking and rolling, it's coming right up through the floor, through everything, as Koos de Ronde comes in. The running order tonight, of course, is based on the placings from yesterday. And Koos had that real unlucky turn away as he was approaching the bridge, number 4, and the leaders just dived off. Luckily, our course builder and one of the judges just jumped out of the way in time. So that was quite costly for penalties and errors, of course, and a few things for Koos. The round didn't go his way, but he's one of our most experienced and talented and highly medalled international drivers, indoors and out. Nobody can reset quite like somebody with the experience that he has. So Koos de Ronde with Tibi, Maestoso Zenta, Favori, Allegra Futa and Edgar. So the two leaders are Tibi. Tibi's who's 20 now, and what an incredible horse. He's been driven at the Paralympic World Championships in all sorts of combinations, even as a pair for Diana Lindsay. What a wonderful, versatile horse he is. So that's the great Tibi on the left-hand side. As the clock starts, and we're off on a Saturday night here in London. Oh, that was some turn. They power round the course on the right rein initially, and don't even blink because it all happens so quickly. Just the slight clip of those cones and the balls can roll. 4 to add, as you know, but the penalties also get clocked up. No doubt at all that they were going to go over the bridge. What a brilliant recovery from last night. Great for Koos de Ronde. And they have on the back Jan Mark Vonk as well. So he's the one doing all the hard work. They have to have such good joints on the bottom step, though. We say the hip joints and the knee joints have to be like shock absorbers. They do a lot of work in the gym, these guys, to keep themselves as agile and fit as the horses. Koos in number 5 already. He takes these wider turns than perhaps some of his compatriots just to keep the flow with his longer striding horses. But it's smooth so far from the Flying Dutchman as he flies out of number 5 in about 68-69. Watch those split times, they are important. It gives us a bit of a gauge. We do expect each combination to be a good 2 to 4 seconds up on their times from last night. Cornering well there on the short end through number 8. It's all looking good so far for Koos de Ronde. Over the bridge, number 9. This checkerboard team here, don't they look good from those aerial shots into the Big Ben? That's actually a wing of a jump. If you look very closely, you'll see the notches that hold the cups for some of these enormous jumping courses that we have here at the Exell. What focus that they need. You can't have even the tiniest slither of lack of concentration from everybody, but they're showing real focus. Look at those horses really leaning into the turn. Particularly good from that inside leader, the big grey there. Maestoso, of course, gives away as a Lipizzaner. That prefix, and he's still out and clear. Look at that, 140. Watch those splits. We will bring the split times. We've got a tremendous technical team behind the scenes that are able to give you these up-to-date crux points on the course. Oh, come on, Koos de Ronde. You are flying round, been at every event here in London. He's one of the stalwarts and one of the most popular drivers here, and you can tell the crowd is absolutely raising the roof. 166.12 and nothing to add. Fantastic round for him. Will it be enough? Will it be enough? That's what we need to find out for the drive-off. Now let's just put into perspective, Dries' winning round over the same course yesterday with nothing to add was 158.26. So that's what we know can be done from yesterday. Clear, that's what guaranteed Dries his final spot in the drive-off yesterday. But Koos de Ronde did everything right. It went very smoothly for the Dutchman. Good round from him. He can do no more. He just has to sit back and wait for everybody else to go. As we welcome in, and he is loved by everybody here. Daniel Naprous, the Devil's Horseman himself, got Frank Campbell there on the back, and his son Felix Naprous, and Dan's father, the great Gerard Naprous, who founded the company all those years ago. Used to double for Sean Connery back in the day. Can you believe? And here's Dan, fresh from the film set, fresh from today's masterclass, where hopefully we all inspired a few more people to take up this fantastic sport. And those horses are zinging tonight. Young Nick's there on the left. And we do have microphones on that bridge. Number 4, just to give you an idea of what's going on. Now, we heard a bell ring, and can you see there, we've had an equipment malfunction. You can just see there that the Dries trace has come off. So the boys have to get down and quickly readjust. So we heard some bell rings now. That is a 5. You can see that's been added, and we've got a 10. I'm going to just come through this. The 5 is because the grooms have dismounted, just trying to keep you up to date with exactly what's happening. You could hear the bell, but it wasn't immediately clear, and I don't think Dan heard it. They had to ring it a few times. Jerome Hooterman getting down there. That's really bad luck for Dan, because those horses set off with such fantastic intent, and that's hard work, having to stop when the adrenaline's pumping. You can see the horses going, why have we stopped, Dad? What's going on here? The 10 is because the reins, pole straps or traces have become disconnected. So anything where the horse gets a leg over the trace, the pole or the bar, or something happens to the carriage. Now, this is where any of you drivers at home watching, wherever you are in the world, and we know we've got people up really early in New Zealand, we've got people up early or staying up late in America. It's fantastic to have you joining us. You carry your spares. So the boys there, Frank and Felix, just making sure they've got that fixed up. Oh, Daniel, it was going so well. I don't think he could quite believe that the bell had rung. But he will recover. Don't forget what an incredible talent he is. He was born to it. A stuntman himself. So they just have to regroup. And our judges and the course builder will just let them know at which point the clock starts again. So everybody out in the warm-up arena will be just checking and checking again that their equipment is okay. That's Barry Capstick there, one of our 3 judges. We've got Bert Jambon here, who is president of the ground jury. Barry, who's actually representing Ireland as a judge, and Piers, Scar, Pierre and Bert are sitting up at the top behind the commentary position. So there's Jerome. We are in the middle of a dynamic and live situation. So the 15 there because the grooms got down, plus 10 for the malfunction of a bit of the equipment. But we're off again. So he's back over the bridge. They would have attempted to restart him from the point at which they noticed there would have been that trace coming off. Come on, Dan, and keep breathing. You have to just get your head back on the job in hand. Dan is in number 5. He's got to remember the routes, but that's what the top step, that's very much the job of Frank, who himself is a very experienced international carriage driver, and indeed a horse that he has driven is the horse that's made up Dries's new one in the team, and we'll come to that in a little bit when Dries is here. But we're focusing on Daniel Naprous, based near Milton Keynes of Buckinghamshire. That was a ball you just spotted. A clip of, so we've gone up to 19. It does seem quite a funny total when you're used to everything happening sort of in multiples of 4. Back over the bridge, number 9 if you're following the course. As Dan just takes the horses back into his hands a little bit, so picks up those loops. Nick's there on the left lead. Learning with every step, growing in confidence, ears back and forward as they listen to the voice commands, swinging round, keeping it smooth. And look at Dan's outside hand, forwards and backwards. Both arms working almost in opposition with each other as you articulate through the carriage and the turntable and those back wheels. Do they follow? And of course the turntable brake, another bit of the technical equipment they have there, just determining how much the back wheels follow the track of the front wheels or not. Pings out, and of course it's brilliant, and thank you to the team for bringing you both sets of scores there. It does illustrate what's happening when you're adding in all the balls and the penalty. So we're up to 23, so 2 balls to add to that 15. But it doesn't matter when Dan's driving here in London because he is so popular and he has such a massive following. So the time was 1:75.73 showing on your screens there with that funny total of 23, but hopefully you followed how that broke down as the competition was proceeding. So that gives him a total of 198.73. Let's see if you can see on the replays just the point at which somewhere between number 3 and the bridge where that trace just pinged down. Lots of replays. Obviously, we're bringing this to you live at the moment at 6:25 local time. But I know there'll be many hour differences wherever in the world you are. As we welcome in for Germany, it is our First Lady of Four-in-Hand Driving, Mareike Meier, with Linda and Nicole, the tried and trusted all-female crew for Mareike. Sunfire, Fredlin, Zazu and Zatin. And it's always great watching the ponytails on the back of these ladies, just seeing the hair flying around gives you an indication of the speed and the size, particularly of this combination going through these obstacles. And the symbiosis this lady has in particular with her horses. Oh, look at that left wheel horse bounding round there. If you ever get a chance to see the trot-ups of these horses when they're out of harness, the bespoke World Cup teams do look quite compact, but Mareike's are magnificent, beautiful conformation they have, and that's why she gets these lovely dressage tests out of them as well. So well put together. And that's some power that she's navigating round the course. Nothing to add so far for Mareike. Pretty good on the time, 0.299 behind Koos de Ronde. And nothing to add at the moment. Koos was clear, he finished on time only. Everybody encouraging, helping each other out. Same course as yesterday, but are they keeping to the same routes? Can you spot the differences if there are any? Flowing forward. Much easier if they're all in the same place. You want them either all trotting or all cantering. And she did that tight line beautifully. Made it look easy. Into her hand as they go forward. She opens up on these longer stretches. And big cheers for Mareike as she powers round in clear. Lovely driving. 171.64. Just about 5 seconds, just over 5 seconds behind Koos, but nice and relaxed as those horses come back into the trot as they wind down. Oh, focus, just saw her leaning into that. Their sparkly hats adds to this wonderful sparkly occasion just before Christmas here in London. As we welcome in to the arena. For Sweden, Fredrik Persson, joined by his wife and his daughter, Victoria and Helena. His daughter, Victoria, herself is a very proficient carriage driver, and she is navigating. And they walked and walked these options many times. They had quite a lot of time in comparison to some of the other events to walk the course again this afternoon, because the course was rebuilt just before the break. And Fredrik really has delighted all of us with some really smooth rounds. He had a lovely clear yesterday, super clear in Stockholm as well. And some lovely driving in Geneva last weekend. So each weekend, this is their third appearance in the current series. This is a new team, you know that by now, that Chester Webber used to drive, and Fredrik, when he realised that from his 11th position, because Chester didn't take his one, he was able to, and they've just overshot there. That's it. They went for E before B, and of course we do want to stick in alphabetical order, but the crowd acknowledged that that was a bit of a save of the day. Just a little bit soon, they dropped into the gate, but rescued well, and what happens is you lose a bit of time. But Fredrik, until that moment, had been amazing us with some lovely smooth rounds, the four becoming much more cohesive, and him, as he said, getting used to them, making a few adjustments between each of the rounds, on the bitting, on the rain fittings, that's what's so key. Out again. Still clear on the balls. He's really going for it, wasn't put off by that slight adjustment. Showing huge commitment, all of them. Those 16 shod feet going over that bridge. It's about 8 meters long, a little bit wider than you would have for, say, the cones, which are 1.9 to 2 meters, and the gates are about 3.5 meters. Those are the dimensions that we work with, but they do seem quite small when you're getting several meters of horse in front of you and a carriage behind. It's all relative. Just reorganised. That was like the concertina action, as you saw there. They all came back in on each other, and then they'll open up and spread out on the straights. Dance, dance round. Good horses, looking for the openings, and they found it. All that communication is working well for Fredrik Persson. And his lovely greys going into their collars brilliantly. They have these lovely deep chests, plenty of heart and lung room. As they come through 14, still clear, still a lovely round. 174.50, puffs out, acknowledges the crowd. I don't think he breathed very much, he's just catching his breath. Puff puff from our driver, but that's okay. They probably can't, with the speeds they go, catch their breath very easily. Everything's still catching up with itself after that. Oh, look at the mother and daughter there, working very hard on that back step. Oh, and that was just a moment when we realised that we couldn't go through E, had to just come backwards, but rescued very quickly. And look how much rain they have to gather up. A bit like reversing an articulated lorry, if any of you are HGV drivers or back trailers. Not very easy. Ijsbrand Chardon, the grandfather of, and I mean grand, the iconic. Nobody does it quite like him. And his talented son Bram, who isn't with us this weekend. will have the joy of father and son together in Leipzig, and all being well in Bordeaux again. That would be the plan. They're still chopping and changing horses between them a little bit. The wonderful mare Kendi, she's been working in both teams. That's Kendi who's up there on the left, and Casper. All of you know Casper up there on the right. And he'll go back. He's a working horse in the yard and is used for teaching and training, but here, a really important part of this fall. Ijsbrand had a great event last night. 4 to add already. But he was in the drive-off. Now we're up to 8. It's all happening so quickly. Yes, good shot of the ball there on the sand. Everybody's willing them forward. Yes, we can see it. We can see both balls there. There you go. That's how you get to 8. Ping, ping. Can happen so quickly, but on they go. Still counts. Does make it a little bit harder when you've got that 8 to add, but he did give us a wonderful show last night to make it into the drive-off. We did have the top 3. He had a clear in the first round, 12 to add in the drive-off. Whoa, right up against the side, and look how close they get to the ground. That's one of the really special features of this arena, and the layout is everybody can smell the breath of the horses, get a sense of their adrenaline as they come flying by. So that's Kendi on the inside at the moment. Brilliant horse, served this family so well over the years. And just look at Casper as well. Ears forward, whoops. Now they're having a little bit of a debate between them, 2 very experienced horses there, as to which one's top horse, but they got through it. Quite a difference in their size and conformation, but that doesn't matter. They're working well. Through 12, as he comes round, 2 more to go. We finish on 14 on this course. Oh my goodness. If the will of the driver could get them over the line, this man has it in spades. Looks up, a great time, 1:54.95, and that time was so good. It was so good that even with 8 to add, he still gets himself into the drive-off, and look at that. That's what it means. It's like he's just won another world championship. Oh my goodness, how did he pull that off? How did he do that? Wowie! And everybody, every single person here knows what they've just seen. It looks like it was over and done, but he never stopped. The commitment, the emotion, and most importantly, the passion. The gods were with him. I don't know who he was praying to or talking to going round that course. Apollo, Hermes, Zeus, didn't matter which one. That was the ball, that was the knock. But the gods were with the great man on that round. How do you follow that? But with what we've got coming next, Exell and Dries Degrieck. Oh, look! The emotions are just flying around, oozing everything. If ever you needed a shot of something, a shot of Ijsbrand in that moment, that's what we love. As in comes Exell, Bundy, Barney, Mad Max and Duchess. Now this is going to be pretty special. If we're able to bring you these shots all the way through, and don't forget, it's going to be all about Bundy. because potentially tonight he could get that 100th win at a World Cup. We reckon it's between 130 and 40 starts now overall. He's 21 and he's still going strong. Emma on the back behind Boyd and Wannes keeping everything upright. Here they are, and we know, and Boyd knows, he has the fastest team in the world. And he has to steer them and keep them right. And when it goes right, they are unbeatable. Lots of analysis from yesterday's round. And still, after all these years, nothing taken for granted. It matters more than ever when you're going for your 11th World Championship title for the World Cup. 7 outdoors, 10 indoors. And this is absolutely emphatic from Boyd Exell. And look how those horses flatten and run. Leaning in. The crowd lifting them. The power. Through 8. We're on to the bridge. We're over halfway. Let's see if we can get you a time 5.6 faster. That's what we're dealing with. This is important, but at the moment it's about getting into the drive-off. Of course it is. But getting it right. No mistakes, no balls, no knocks. Forward, forwards. Look how high that pole sits, the dog leg on the pole, so the horses can lean into it and push into it, get that carriage round, keep those lines tight. The design of these carriages, and Boyd has been quite instrumental in designing the modern marathon and World Cup carriage. Oh my goodness, how did he miss that? How did he miss that? Wow! That looked like he was going to clip it, did he? It was 4. He was really, really tight on that gate. But the time is so good. Look what Ijsbrand's just done, and look what Boyd is doing in this super fast arena as he powers through 14. And where is the clock going to stop? It is going to be 1:57. That is even faster than our winning time last night, but that is enough to propel him at the moment into the top spot. So 1:57.15, that gives you a total of 1:61.15. That puts him into drive off, of course it does, and top of the table at the moment. 1:61.15 is the total, but just note that time, 1:57.15. He was tight, and there might have been just in there. But isn't that tremendous to get a sense of, oh, yes. And you can see the muscles on. That's Barney working hard there on that turn. That was a wonderful shot, just showing his fitness and conditioning over the years. As Emma jumps down, gates are open, and our winner from last night, and really the man of the series so far. What can he do? Dries Degrieck. Do you know how he started learning to handle 4 reins so well? Was with a pony tandem, a tandem of Section A Welsh ponies. And that means that those of you out there that drive Welshies, and they are very popular driving ponies, you too could aim to live out your dreams, because that is what Dries says. Each time he does this, he's living the dream. He used to come home from school and drive his Welsh ponies, and driving the tandem where you have the 4 reins coming to your hand every day, that's what taught him his brilliant, instinctive, lightning sharp rein handling. That's what you have to do to be a world beater, day after day, so that it's as easy as breathing and a heartbeat. And that's what he does. Tara who, as we know, is a proficient and talented driver herself, keeping him right, and Kim. And he's had quite a few moments this series so far, actually being able to hang on. Out in a tremendous time there, 63. Let's see if we can bring you a split as soon as possible, because that was even better from Dries. He was hard on himself after the drive-off last night. He said he made the mistakes in the post-round analysis that they made. Yeah, everybody shunted the carriage down there through number 8. Oh! Can you feel the shockwaves coming up through their bodies? Everybody's. You can feel that almost up through the hip joints. Boom, 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 over that bridge. Don't forget, he's had to put the grey in. Frankie, 14-year-old gelding. He was a horse that Dries owned before, and a slight twiddle, a twiddle. Yeah, that was a 4, but at the moment, this is about drive-off place. This is drive-off territory. That's what Dries wants, because in the drive-off is where it really, really matters. So no more mistakes if he's going to stay in it with Boyd and Ijsbrand, and everybody cheers! He has become such a crowd favourite across the globe, but particularly here in London after what he did yesterday. And that grey put in there to replace Dries's favourite horse, Smokey, who couldn't be here. And look, everything! Yes, look at that time! Look at that time! 1:55.15. So we have quite an interesting mix. That last ball, but he's done enough. He's got in. There was a bit of wriggle room going back to Koos de Ronde, so he did have a buffer, but what it means is he's going to be the first one back in. So confirmation, the time was 1:55.15. The total is 1:63.15. But what that also means is that Ijsbrand Chardon had quite an incredible time. We've got the totals there for you, so just confirmation of what has happened after the first round. Boyd out in front on 1:61.15, 1:62.95. That was Ijsbrand with 8 to add. Incredible. He knew what he did. Everybody here knew what he did tonight. And Dries just a slither behind. Look how close it is. 2 seconds between them. And we're just bringing you now some highlights. Koos de Ronde there. Just a quick recap of the action tonight. But everybody, just draw breath whilst we bring you a quick recap of the action. So we actually have a resident DJ here in London. This isn't something that you have at every event, but there he is. You can see him up on the screen, and he's right down at the front next to the entrance where everyone's coming in, but even he's managed to put his black tie on. There aren't many black-tie DJs around. That's quite something. We do dress up in the evenings here, and particularly on a Saturday night. There's something quite magical in London. It's always been the way, where everyone gets changed, and we've had sparkles everywhere. Just we've got a bit of a break. If you do need to, at home, just go off and pop the kettle on, or pop a cork somewhere, or unscrew the top of the whiskey bottle. Now's the time to do it. We're giving you permission just to go off and have a little bit of break. And that comes from Jerry, the director, as well. He's laughing in my ear. But I will take this opportunity to thank the huge crew, actually all over the world, because we have people working in continental Europe giving you the live streaming as well. So it really is a massive team effort to bring you this wonderful live footage. So thank you to everybody behind the scenes that makes it happen. Are you rocking and rolling at home? Because certainly we are rocking and rolling and jiving and quick stepping and doing all sorts of things here in the Exell Arena. The atmosphere is absolutely phenomenal. Everybody's brought their Christmas spirit and everybody has just loved the Driving World Cup action that we've brought you so far. But this is the point it all comes down to when we've got our final three, Dries, Ijsbrand and Boyd, coming into the drive-off. We already know that the other drivers will get some points towards the ranking table. Mareike, Fredrik, Ijsbrand, obviously, and Koos. Everybody's here for the points, but Ijsbrand back in with Boyd and Dries for the drive-off. So the same three lining up, coming in a slightly different order from last night, but we've had a bit of party time. It's been a chance for the horses just to cool down a little bit and regroup, because Dries, who was last to go as our winner from last night, he's coming in first because he just had that late ball, shoved him into third place, which means he's first in. We go 3-2-1 for the drive off, but you know that, don't you? Look at that, leg 6 of 8 already, competition 2 drive off. Dries Degrieck, Ijsbrand Chardon and Boyd Exell.
Well, we know it's going to be close. In the qualifying, they all had penalties first, they all had 4 or 8 2 seconds separating.
If you're having a little sweepstake at home or laying bets, I wonder if you're backing this man or if you're backing Boyd Exell, or after what Ijsbrand just did and pulled off in the most incredible fashion, and it was like he went into liftoff. I'm sure the NASA space stations and all the various people that propel rockets into the stratosphere could learn a lot from us here in driving, because we can certainly propel everybody into another dimension here in the World Cup. As we draw breath and wait and see if Dries Degrieck can produce yet another winning round. Lyon was his, Stockholm was his. He's sitting on 20 points. That's 2 times 10 for winning. Can he do it again? As he picks up and off they race, Dries Degrieck for Belgium in London. It's party time, and the entertainment doesn't get any better than this. I hope you're dancing at home, because we're sure dancing here. Over the bridge, number 4. Will he stick to the same route? Remember, we don't drop any gates. It is the same route as last time. So this is the 3rd time he's driven this, as have the horses. They will have some sort of idea of where the gates are. Oh, that was some turn. Did you see that? Gosh, the G-force. He's going for it, he's going for it. He wants another win. He wants to show the world that he cannot be beaten. Oh, look at that swish round and the sand kicked up. Look at that. Clear so far, clear so far. Are you keeping a note of those split times? Top gear all the way around the course for the brilliant Belgian. Doing it with a different horse up front. He hasn't got Hunter, who's his stalwart indoor and out. The grey has had to be drafted in. They did it last night. Are they on the way to doing it again? B. Follow those routes. Follow that little box on your screens. Will it stay as a 0? Stretching that outside hand to give the horses as much rein as possible to turn to the inside. Oh, he's done it, he's done it! Slight loss of momentum, but he was going for it. They've been given as much rein as possible to run. Oh! Everybody looked down. Did they make it? We just couldn't see on the camera, but nothing to add so far. Everybody is willing them over the line. He's nearly over the horses. 1:57. It's not the fastest, but it's clear. He's done it. He can do no more. That's the final round in London for Dries Degrieck. And he's smiling. And there was a fall, yes, I wondered, you could just see them all looking down. We didn't have it at the time, but that's a total of 161.76. But note that time, 1:57.76. We might be able to bring you a shot of just where that fall came from, but my guess is it was when they all looked down. It's just tucked away from where our cameras are. But there they go, as we go back to, as you can see, luckily, the two teams. Isn't it great when you see them crossing over like that? Ijsbrand Chardon. I wonder if Bram gave him a quick ring, because they do analyse each other's rounds. Doesn't matter where they are in the world. And that was one of the best rounds we've seen from Ijsbrand in recent history. He's just showing that age is no barrier, because he still brings all his wisdom and horsemanship to his driving. A horseman through and through, and how many hundreds of horses has he driven and brought on and put on the world stage in his career. Backwards through A. Remember, once they've gone through the big letters, the capitals, they can come backwards through, but it must be in sequence. That is the key. D, C to D, that flowed well, It's almost looking a bit blurry, it's happening so quickly. To E, and a change of rein to the left. Oh, great out in 63. That's about as good as it gets. That is absolutely on point. 63 out of number 5. Now, we know what speed he found in the second half of the course last time. Can he do it again? And I love when you see them just turning on that bridge, even when they're between the rails. All that forward planning, because that's what you have to do when you've got two lead horses so far in front of you. Go on, Casper. Keep everybody right. Casper and Kendi up there. Leanne, his daughter, there on the top step, navigating. Oh, well done, made that brilliantly. And Chris on the bottom step. What a crew they are now. Can we stay clear all the way home? 12, yes, it's on top. Oh, this looks like it's going to be brilliant. 13, one more to go. The roof has flown off the Exell Arena as we stop in 1:53.86. Oh my goodness, yes! What has he just done? Oh, whatever happens for the rest of this series, that was magnificent. A masterclass from Ijsbrand Chardon. He knows what he's just done, and we salute you. We salute you, Ijsbrand Chardon, and there'll be many, many fans all over the world cheering and supporting and smiling and grinning as loudly or shouting as loudly as he's just done at the screens, because that was brilliant and acknowledges those clever horses. Kendi Casper, my Stoso Mister, and First One. They are the true stars of the show. But what teamwork from all of them. Right, 1:53.86. Doesn't get much faster than that. But in comes Boyd Exell. Everyone's still cheering here. That was one of the best displays of indoor driving with a horse 4 that you will see. And rightly so, the crowd salutes him, as we all do. But it's not over yet. Boyd and the crew will know exactly what has just happened. And this brilliant brain that Boyd Exell has will be ticking over. He will know where the clock was at certain points in Ijsbrand's round. He will know what he has to do if he is going to win here. Remember, he's a wild card. There aren't going to be any more ranking points. He's already maxed out at 30. But still, as they go, and this is what these horses do so well, that flatten and run. The acceleration. It looks incredible on your screens. It looks otherworldly in real life. Oh, the lean! Oh my goodness, how did they stay upright? That's incredible. That corner after 3. Look at that, 0.49 up already. That's where we're at. But the balls have to stay on top. Ijsbrand has just pulled something remarkable out of the bag. This is why he's been a champion so many times, but just wait and watch and see what Boyd does. Oh, there's 4. There's 4. The heat has just gone up. The dials are turning. We've got 2 running totals, which means we have a 4 to add. What does that feel like in the hand? Because they take some contact, they do take a hold, these horses, and he steers them. But everybody leaning into that turn. Split time. Watch your clocks, watch your clocks. Oh! Ijsbrand. Looking good at the moment. Not that often you see a red number when this man's flying round. And his wonderful horses. Emma and Wanis on the back there. There's a sharp intake of breath. Everybody's holding their breaths here in the arena. 1:53.86. That is the time to beat. That is what needs to be beaten if it's going to be another pole position for Boyd Exell. Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, he nearly took out the finish box. They gave it everything, all credit to them. I mean, the time, 1:50.16, to shave 3 seconds off, nearly 4 seconds. Quite incredible. Very nearly didn't make the finish gate because of it. But just that unlucky ball on top. But they're all winners here tonight. But how fantastic for so many of you that have followed the great Ijsbrand Chardon over the years. He is back here winning, and that was remarkable. Dries Degrieck couldn't quite pull it off for a third win, but it didn't. Yeah, goodness, that was as close as it gets. No balls on top of the finish post, but you still have to go through it. And we've got confirmation here on the big screen, the big cube above the arena that brings so many wonderful shots to everybody here, as we're just showing you. And he smiled, but he just knew the time was remarkable. But what a brilliant result for Ijsbrand Chardon. We're just going to see if we can bring you a little bit of the words from Ijsbrand. Here we go.
London loves you as well. How special is it? You come here, we see you here, you support this. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, the level is really, really high. And the performance from Dries and Boyd was really, really good. And the first day was okay, but not so good. But this day, the horses are fantastic. I have not so good team, work really good together. And my crews make a really, really good job. But this amazing drive here in London. It's a so nice place. I was yesterday in London, but this public is the most important for me. Dat is zoveel energie. Dus very, very, very thank you.
Thank you very much. She thought you might need a translator, but you didn't need a translator. Dank u wel.
So, as you heard the great man saying, it was the energy of the crowd that really lifted him. And all of our drivers and athletes do pay credit to the organisers and the audience. And we're just going to bring you some highlights of that quite remarkable round. From Ijsbrand Chardon, our winner tonight in London. There we have confirmation of what has just happened and where that alters the table. Don't forget, it's the top 6 out of our 10 that will go forward to the final in Bordeaux. So Boyd remains in front on that full 30. Dries, from his 3rd place, earned 7 points because Ijsbrand, in fact, earned the full 10 as our winner tonight. So that puts Ijsbrand into 3rd place. So those are our 1, 2, 3 unchanged at the top for Boyd. Bram, I don't think you're going to get Kendi back at this rate. I think you've lost your horse to your dad, because that was such a remarkable performance from him. But Bram Chardon obviously hasn't changed for him and Jerome. Anna Mareike and Koos de Ronde currently both sitting on 11. Glenn Geertz, obviously, and Georg not here. But don't forget, just after Christmas, we'll see some of these others back in action in Mechelen. And then in mid-January, we have our final leg that actually this man won last January, and we will move forward to Leipzig before, in the 2nd weekend in February, we are in Bordeaux. So not to be his night tonight, but still, what a series he's had, and he has given us such great sport so far, and we've got years and years to come of watching Dries Degrieck give us great sport, and surely has now done enough to seal his place in Bordeaux. So you can rest assured that the Belgian now on 27 will have done enough to get to the final. So that's a nice position to be in as a driver, as an athlete, for the crew and the horses, to know that the game plan has gone as expected. It would have been a bit of a fairy tale if Dries had won again, and also if Bundy had had his 100. So the great Bundy still on that 99, but of course he will get there. Not to be a win for Boyd, who's won countless times here in London. And don't forget, we quite often do have that extra competition, which Hugh and Karen Scott Barrett help support as well. So we do sometimes have 3 events, but just due to timetabling, we're back to the 2. But I promise you, we've just taken off. This is the fairy tale. This is the fairy tale. Ijsbrand Chardon coming out and just showing everybody else how it's done.
What a truly fantastic Christmas treat here on the
And as he edges forward, we have a red carpet and the prize giving, and we're just about to have the national anthem for the Netherlands.
It is, congratulations, Ijsbrand Chardon for the Netherlands. To present an affordable Mason hamper that goes to all of the drivers. They're so generous with all the drivers here in London. Thank you to both of you who've been a huge element, almost impossible to make this happen without you here. They've been
Out
so
comes
enthusiastic all
the
way
hamper.
through. And,
He's quite happy to receive that from Karen Scott Barrett.
Wonderful.
And
driving, and
thank you to Hugh and Karen
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's winner of the
for
FEI
their
Driving
generous
World
support.
Cup,
There's Simon
Ijsbrand
Brooks
Chardon.
Ward, who is ultimately in charge of all of this in London and at Royal Windsor. And quite an historical evening.
An amazing group
A
of
lot
drivers.
to sit and
coming forward
process.
to the man in second, Australia's Boyd Exell. Every effort, every try, and the time. Just didn't quite work out this time, but these 3 will be squaring off throughout the season. And finishing in 3rd, he was winner on day 1 for Belgium, Dries Degrieck.
But they're all winners here, and Dries pulled off something quite remarkable this weekend in having to find an extra horse at the last minute because his hunter, or they call him the stable Smoky, was lame. As we just take in this achievement, and if ever you're having a down day and the world's not going your way, replay tonight. It's always out there, because how can you fail not to be totally infused with positivity, seeing those horses and the great man, and Leanne and Chris doing what they did so well. As he leads the way, and nobody does a prize giving and a closing few moments in an arena quite like Ijsbrand. Hold on to your hats in case we have some hijinks. We're just trying to work out, I'm on the line to Bram at the moment, when did Ijsbrand last win in London? And we know it was back when the show was at Olympia. So we're 4 years here at Exell. Bram reckons 5 to 6 years ago. We're just trying to find confirmation of when he actually last won. I'm sure you guys can look it up at home. But how sweet does that taste? And the headlines may have already been rewritten out there that it was going to go perhaps to Boyd again or to Dries going on the current form, but everybody's going to have to rub that out, press delete and start again, because tonight Ijsbrand Chardon showed them how it's done. And here we go. And just enjoy these last few minutes from London. Feast your eyes on these brilliant horses, because without them, none of us would be here. So let's celebrate our horses and what they do for us and what they bring to our lives. Just lining up on the diagonal. That's it. In comes Dries as they salute the crowd and they acknowledge the energy and the passion from them, which made this a truly iconic evening. As Dries goes out first, he'll be back in Mechlin, as will Koos, Bram, Bronstein and Jerome. So you will see some of your favourites again. You won't see Boyd again now, we don't think, until the final. He's off to Australia, but he's given us some wonderful sport. Let's just hope it's clear down that chute as they fly out. And he's going to give the crowd just what they've come to see. He's going to wind them up, and he's not leaving until he's had everyone on their feet, which they pretty much are, actually. Just look at the sheer joy he's brought. And some lucky person there. Oh, he's having a chat. That's what happens here, because the crowd is so close to the action. You can reach out and touch, and he's making them holler. He's like a conductor, isn't he? The ringmaster, the one and only. He's not going to go till everybody is maxed out on this. Ijsbrand Chardon, the night is yours. And he throws his cap Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the huge FEI TV crew, wherever you are, to everybody in the truck here in London. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sarah Dant. It has been an absolute joy to share this with you. You've got Gareth next in Mechelen. I don't know if we're going to top that, but I'm sure they'll try. We're going to bring you a few highlights, but watch that and watch that again, because that was magic. Take care, stay safe wherever you are.